Hi, and welcome back to Therapeutic Kinesiology. I'm Marianne Foster, and I help people get more comfortable in their body with kinesiology-based exercises that are aligned with the principles of good body mechanics and joint alignment. Today, I want to talk about standing. I know how standing can be really difficult. It can hurt your back and hurt your feet and just create all kinds of body problems. I have had problems standing because I tend to have hyperextended knees. As I lock them, I push them back. I'm doing that right now. So you can see if I turn my legs out, so my back of my knees can touch without my feet touching. They can push back so far. Actually, it's gotten better over the years because I've really worked hard to stand with my legs straight and not locked. Locking the knees can create a lot of problems because when we're standing, there's a postural reflex that causes us just to sway a little bit. It's literally called postural sway. So the body's weight just keeps oscillating around the center of the ankle. The joint right at the center of the ankle is the main pivot for this movement, and the rest of the joints in the body ideally are relatively quiet without being rigid. As we sway, what happens is the muscles in the lower leg are doing this like subtle pumping action, and especially this large muscle right here on the back of the calf called the soleus muscle is pumping. When I go forward, the muscles on the back of my calves contract. When I lean back, they relax. So I'm really exaggerating the sway now. This would be a dysfunctional sway. But that movement is very important because what it does is it helps blood return to the heart. So that blood doesn't pool down in the lower legs and the feet and ankles. The soleus muscle is also often called the second heart because of this assistance in circulation. Now, if you're watching a newscaster standing and talking, or anybody who's a professional commentator, you're going to notice that they stand really still because they've been taught not to sway. So, because swaying can be really distracting for the audience. See the difference here? I'm going to sway again because standing still will make me pass out, which is actually a very common thing. Happens at weddings and funerals and parades where people are standing with their knees pushed back and their legs locked, and they're standing really still. And the circulation is poor back up to the heart, which makes a person lightheaded, and eventually, boom, somebody faints. That used to happen when I was a kid in church a lot, and the tallest guy in church could always see the person faint and would run and help and pick them up. Kind of funny, but not funny because nobody wants to faint, and we don't want people fainting. Anyhow, so I want to talk about knees and how to stand with your knees straight and not locked. I'm emphasizing straight because if you stand with your knees bent, you could do that with me as I'm talking here, and just feel how the muscles have to work in your legs because the joint is bent and gravity is always pulling down on our body. So we're going to keep going down if we don't hold these muscles. They're really maintaining the legs in the bent position. The trouble with having your legs bent when you're not moving and supporting weight like that is that the contraction of those muscles compresses the knee, and the knee has two large discs in it, menisci, and that compression puts tension in the discs and weakens them. Basically, those discs in your knees are to absorb shock and give you a cushion when you're moving. So they're not designed to just be in stationary positions where we're in a compromised position. If I lock my knees back, there we go, I'm locking back, the front of the knee closes more than the back of the knee, which puts a lot of pressure on the front of the discs. If I tend to sit out on the side of my hip, I still have my knee locked here. I'm stressing the side of my hip and the side of my knee. Vice versa, if I do it on this side, this one's going to get stressed. So ideally, when we're standing, here are my hip joints. the center of my knees and the center of my ankle and my second toe are all lined up, and that's called in a position of the mechanical axis of the lower limb. Here I have my fingertips on my hip socket, so when I bend my knees, my knee ideally is working in alignment with my hip. To get a sense of what is a locked knee, stand with your hand against a wall, or you can hold onto a chair. And I'm going to support the weight on this leg. I'm going to lift this leg up and just balance on the toes so that I am using the wall and my toes to balance. Here's my standing leg. Now I'm locking back. Now I'm straightening my knee without locking. Locking back. Notice how it extends my lower back too, and I get a break in my hips, tips my pelvis. They're standing up straight. It's kind of a dropping of the weight when we lock. So what I recommend doing if you tend to lock your knees is just standing and just doing a gentle pumping with your knee, and then feel that place where the knee is straight. Spread the toes on the floor so they're spreading out like that, 5 rays, and let yourself kind of sway around that hip, making sure that this hip socket stays over the knees and isn't locking back, I'm not tucking my pelvis, which throws the weight forward, and you can see how it bends my knees. If I keep my knees straight with my pelvis tucked, oh my God, that's such a strain on my knees. I can feel it already. So I recommend really working on what is a straight leg, what is a locked leg, and what is a bent leg, getting a feel for those different positions. Also getting a feel for when you sit out on the side of your hip, and then if you need to shift weight over to one side or another, that's fine. I like when I'm standing for long periods of time, I do like to just, shift my weight back and forth. And I think most people do that without dropping out to the side. Again, knees locked, knees straight, knees bent. So really having a good sense of awareness of those 3 different positions. All right, that's it for today's video. And hope you like this. I hope it helped your knees. I know this has helped mine a lot. Keep on swaying. Don't let yourself stand in a tight locked position. And if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Join my channel and share it with your friends. I will see you next time for our next session. Bye for now.